Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a major report that you're going to want to hear. I've got an amazing guest speaker, and before I tell you who he is, he's been on Daystar, TBN, all kinds of TV networks. He's written multiple articles and is the author of 6 different books. And he's got a lot to talk about, specifically in regards to biblical prophecy. Now, on my channel, as a Christian, I bring up a lot of some of the prophetic things that are happening in the news and tell you some of the things that the Bible talks about, and also some of the things that are happening currently in biblical prophecy. Well, my guest today, he is amazing, and it's very likely that you've heard of him, and he's going to be at the Hear the Watchman conference coming up March 23rd, 24th, and 25th, coming up really soon. I'm going to be there. He's going to be there. So make sure, if you guys can, go to the Hear the Watchman conference. There's only so much room left. They're going to sell out. I'd love to see you guys there, but you can use the code HAVEN20 to get $20 off. Or if you can't make it, you can do live stream using HAVEN20. You get 20% off there. So with that, I'm going to let my guest tell you a little more about himself. So Bill Salus, are you with me over there?
I am, Lisa. It's great to be on your show. This is my first time. It's quite an honor. Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, I'm excited to meet you in person at the conference. So.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I was just speaking with the host, Mike Kerr. We were emailing back and forth, and it's going to be a really good full audience, it sounds like, from the sales he's getting in registration. So I'm real excited. It's my first time there.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you guys can make it out there. So Bill, tell us a little bit about who you are, and then we're going to delve into, I guess, one of your books that you wrote, Apocalypse Road, Revelation for the Final Generation. And this is one amazing topic you guys are going to love. So tell us a little bit about who you are, and then we'll delve into it from there.
Lisa, that's great. Yeah, I'm the founder of Prophecy Depot Ministries. I'm an author, researcher, media personality. Like you said, I've been on TV shows, et cetera, write a lot of articles. I've written the 6 books, and my website is prophecydepot.com, Prophecy Depot like HomeDepot.com. My best accolades is I've been married for 46 years. I've got 3 adult children and 3 wonderful grandchildren. That's my proudest moments on my resume.
Amazing. So let's just delve right in. Why do we, need to take Bible prophecy serious? Christians, non-Christians alike. Why take it seriously?
Well, because it is predictive information given to us from God, who knows the end from the beginning, to benefit us, to equip us for the days in which we live. Unfortunately, it's not being taught at very many pulpits these days, and it's about a third of the Bible. And I always quote Isaiah 46, verses 9 and 10, which says, "Remember the former things of old, I am God, and there is no other. I am God, there is none like me, declaring for the end from the beginning," Lisa, and from ancient times things that are not yet done. You know, there's so many things going on in the world right now, and the secular worldview is pretty much inundating everybody on the major news channels. So what I like to provide through Prophecy Depot Ministries is the biblical narrative and the prophetic perspective. God does not try to impress us with Bible prophecy. He's trying to inform us because it authenticates his sovereignty. It equips us for the days in which we live, and it can save souls. I came to know the Lord through studying Bible prophecy, the book of Revelation. So it's a major aspect of our ministry. We try to let people know what the prophetic perspective is of current world events, and there's so much going on. All the end time signs are converging, which is an indicator that we're living in the last days, and probably very deep into the last days, Lisa.
Amazing. Now, in your book, The Apocalypse Road, Revelation for the Final Generation, you talk about things like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, we know, and the mystery Babylon, all kinds of prophetic events. Can you tell me how these events kind of unfold? I know they unfold in very powerful and unique ways. What is your take on all of that?
Exactly. You know, there are literally hundreds of Bible prophecies that have not found fulfillment yet, and when they start to find fulfillment, they will come in a rapid sequence. You know, Christ used the analogy in Matthew 24 about end time signs coming like birth pangs. You know, they'll come with like a woman giving birth when Jesus Christ is coming for his return. The baby will be coming down the birth canal. The end time signs will be coming. They'll be more intense. They'll be more frequent. They'll be unstoppable, just like birth pains would be. So the ones that are coming upon man are globally impacting. They're going to hit on unsuspecting man, and an antichrist is going to come on the scene. A global world religion is going to come on the scene. But that is all going to be under the backdrop and fueled by supernatural deception. Lying signs and wonders. We're told that in 2 Thessalonians 2, that there's going to come lying signs and wonders when Satan is no longer being restrained. And the moment that he is given the opportunity to bring forward his Antichrist, a successful arrival of his seed, of the book of Genesis, the Antichrist, he's not going to slap his forehead and go, oy vey, what do I do now? He's had 2,000 years to prepare to launch his campaign. And he's got this mystery of lawlessness, we're told in 2 Thessalonians, which is going to be creating a sin and a metastasized condition in the world. There's going to be wars in the sealed judgment, famines in the sealed judgments of the book of Revelation chapter 6. And the world is going to clamor for a hero. And a world religion will come in as well, the Mystery Babylon, the harlot world religion. So basically what's going to initially happen to man is this supernatural deception is going to come and hit them. And it's not going to know what to do. It's going to happen at a time when their futures are going to be uncertain. We're already seeing things happening like with the UFO phenomena. Some people think, well, maybe that's going to be part of the supernatural deception that fuels the lying signs and wonders of the Antichrist. We look at, I personally am looking closely at the Vatican as potentially the harlot world religion of Mystery Babylon chapter 17. They have supernatural deception going on with Marian apparitions. She shows up throughout the world at various times throughout the church age. Is that really Mary, the mother of Jesus, this sort of thing? So there's all kinds of things already in place. And the Pope is reaching out in an ecumenical embrace, trying to reach out to the different world religions. And so I believe that the stage is set for the hardest parts of Bible prophecy to come forward, the most pounding ones that will globally impact the world. And supernatural deception, it will happen when the paranormal is the new normal. The supernatural is the natural. And I believe man is headed for that very soon. That's my concern.
Now, when you say the supernatural, the paranormal is the new normal, what do you mean by that? Is that a satanic force come forward? Can you explain that in a little more detail?
Well, it is, because it's dealing with lying signs and wonders that Satan will be unrestrained to launch forward as part of his campaign. It says this in 2 Thessalonians 2, verses 7 through 10, the mystery of lawlessness is already at work, and only he who now restrains will do so until he is taken out of the way. So a restrainer will be removed. And then the lawless one, which will be the Antichrist, will be revealed, whom the Lord will consume with the breath of mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. So Christ will, of course, destroy the Antichrist. But here's the deal here. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteous deception among those who perish. Now, when he unleashes his campaign without any hindrance to bring forward the successful arrival of his seed, the Antichrist, we can't even imagine what is going to come forward and be thrust upon mankind. We have examples of what Satan's capable of. We look in the book of Job, where he was given permission to not harm Job initially, but to take all of his wealth. Job was a wealthy man, to destroy his livestock, to take over his livestock. He controlled the tribes of the Sabaeans to take over his livestock. Wind came and knocked down the house and killed his children. He promised Jesus in the wilderness he could give him all the kingdoms of the world. These are just a few of the things among the many we already know about that he's capable of. But we're talking about stuff that has been restrained that we don't even know what he's capable of. Would it be more Marian apparitions? It would only take one to point everybody's attention toward the Pope and the Catholic Church. Will it be UFO deception? Things that L.A. Marzulli will talk about that says, all of a sudden the biblical narrative gets shot out the window because they come through and say, hey, listen, there's no God. There's different intelligent beings throughout the world. We seeded humanity. We're your alien fathers, whatever the case may be. That's panspermia, things like that. So these are the things that I believe are forthcoming, Lisa. And we don't exactly know what they are, but I guarantee you they're going to be bad.
And for those of you who may not know what panspermia is, that's just belief that we were planted here, seated here by an alien generation or UFOs or whatever that force may be. And you see a lot of this, I think, coming in. You know, we have Ancient Aliens, that TV series. It's, you know, that brings a lot of light to some of that movement, I guess. And so do you think on a personal scale, what do you think that will look like? I mean, do you foresee something like, you know, the rise of a force at the latter times that comes in to play the role that, you know, the Bible talks about? Do you see an alien deception? What do you personally see, if I can ask?
Sure. Well, I see it sequenced in a couple phases. I believe that will be part of it. I think there'll be an emphasis on the new age. But I don't think that is initially what happens out the gate. According to the scriptures, the prophecies in Revelation 17 and 18, you first have Mystery Babylon, a mother of harlots, abominations of all the earth, that says that is a global world religion. That takes front and center initially. And then ultimately, as it harnesses control over the world, and it's a deadly one too, it says that she's drunk with the blood of the saints and the martyrs of Jesus. So it's not a good religion. It's much like you look back at the Catholic Inquisitions between the 12th and 16th century, where true believers were actually being called heretics and handed over to the governing authorities and executed. But ultimately, we're told that that will give way to the Antichrist kingdom. It says in Revelation 17:16 that 10 kings will come in an alliance with the Antichrist, and they will desolate the harlot, and they will give their power and authority to the beast, the Antichrist, and then that's when it gets real bad. So I believe we can have supernatural deception coming with two different prongs on it. One, I believe, will be perhaps more Marian apparitions, Eucharistic miracles that would point people toward a harlot world religion. I personally believe that will be, as I point forward in the Apocalypse Road book, the Vatican and the Catholic Church. There's many people who take that track. They believe it is the Catholic Church per se. But then ultimately that becomes a problem for the Antichrist because he wants to say he is God, to go into the temple, the Jewish temple, which will be constructed at that time, exalt himself above all that's called God, and he wants everyone to worship him. And in Revelation 13, we're told that he will create a cashless economy where no one can buy or sell unless they get involved in that and worship him and take his mark upon his right hand or upon his forehead, which I believe could be a technology that even exists today, but it's more so than just a technology. It's an actual volitional worship of this beast, this Antichrist, and being a participant in his economy. But if you don't participate, if you don't worship him, he will behead you, we're told in Revelation chapter 20. So it's bad, but it's sequenced. And I do believe when he comes on the scene, you're going to have your UFO alien deception. I believe when the harlot comes on the scene, you might have some of that, but you're going to mainly probably have more Marian apparitions. She has shown up through the ages. In 1968 to 1970, she showed up in Zaytun, Egypt, where she was seen by millions, Christians, Muslims. She was seen by Gamal Nasser, the president of Egypt at the time. She is not an experiment. And she's promised that her best works are yet future. She's going to come back and seen by the entire world, it says. These are quotes from her visionaries. So it's going to be a whole new world once the restraint is removed from Satan, and he's planning it. And this could happen at any given time, Lisa. We are so deep into the end times.
Do you think there's anything left to happen per se before, say, tribulation comes forward? Are there any events left to play out?
Well, we won't get too deep into the subject, but there are many things that need to happen. There are other Bible prophecies. There's a rapture. Some people think it's pre-trib, which I do. Some think it's mid-trib. Some think it's post-trib. That'll blow people away. When the disappearance of, millions, we don't know how many believers. You're going to have wars in the Middle East. There's an Arab-Israeli conflict that pointed out in Psalm 83. There's a massive invasion with Russia, Turkey, and Iran in Ezekiel 38. These are part of the wars that are going to create the world in a very unsettled position. Having it cause for instance, Israel is going to want its security. It's going to sign a false covenant. The Antichrist is going to confirm that in Daniel 9. And that'll be a 7-year covenant. That's when you have the tribulation. So events are going to start to build toward that. Israel is going to build a temple. I mean, there are so many Bible prophecies that we want to start to share with people. And the temple, by the way, you talk about current events. they're already planning to build that temple. They've already been preparing the Jewish priests for it, the Levite priests. They've got the temple implements and instruments already. They've got the table of showbread. The problem is they got this big gold dome sitting on top of their foundation stone, their Holy of Holies. But once that's gone, and that would be easily removed, they will immediately move that temple into action. And we know that tribulation temple will exist because Jesus even said in Matthew 24 that that temple will exist and there'll be an Antichrist will go in it and do an abominable act. And he warned the Jews when that happened to flee immediately because he's then going to commit genocide of the Jews at that time. It'll be even worse than what Hitler did. Things are big, things are powerful, things are coming, and the current events are pointing in that direction right now to where we need to be giving the biblical narrative and the prophetic perspective to people, because all they're mostly getting from their pulpits and from the mainstream media is just the secular worldview and some general basic teaching. Now, I'm not trying to put a bad hit on the churches, but it is very difficult to get the churches to give the prophetic perspective of what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, they're not. I mean, a lot of them are not. Let's just be honest about that. There's so many churches that shy away from it, which is why I think it's important for people to attend the conference, like Hear the Watchman conference, the one that we're going to be at. You're going to get a lot of information that you're not going to get at the pulpit. So with that, we're kind of short on time. Do you have any closing thoughts? And share your website and that information as well.
Yeah, well, I always like to bring it back around to the real reason that we have these shows. And it says in Revelation 19:10 that the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. Bible prophecy is so important. It is the testimony of Jesus Christ. It's about a third of the Bible. And so what we're talking about right here, in my honest belief, is that Jesus is going to come get his bride real soon. Like I said, I'm a pre-trib rapture believer. We don't want anyone to go through these types of things if they can be raptured, if there's a pre-trib rapture. They need to put their faith and their confession in Jesus Christ, receive him as their Savior in their heart. That's one of the neat things about the conference you and I will be at. They're going to reactivate people's faith. They're going to give people an opportunity to have a relationship with Jesus Christ. My website, Lisa, again, is prophecydepot.com. We've got lots of books about all the things we have just talked about in this last 20 minutes. So prophecydepot.com.
Awesome. Well, I'll leave links below for all of that if you guys want to check out his website, his book. Also, don't forget about the conference. I'd love to see all of you guys there. Lots of great things happening. Anyhow, thanks again for coming on my channel, Bill. I appreciate it and look forward to interviewing you and seeing you at the conference.
Thank you, Lisa. It was great to be with you.
All right. Well, thank you guys again for tuning into my channel here. And don't forget all the information below. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.